One of the biggest ongoing debates in nerd culture, which I say in quotations because it's not a culture at all, just a bunch of dorks, is the question of Marvel versus DC. This has been going on for decades now, but as the two companies have refocused their brands with time, the debate has become much more focused on the films. On one side, you've got people saying that Marvel is telling a brilliant story, and that DC is rushing everything forward and producing sloppy, messy pieces of garbage. And on the other side, you've got people saying that Marvel is turning out the same bland movie over and over again, and DC is producing darker, more mature, more artistic films. And then in the middle, which is actually the majority, you've got people who just want to see a good movie. In this scenario, I very much see myself in the middle, and the problem with being in the middle is that anything you say about Marvel or DC, positive or negative, gets you lumped in with a side. Thought Wonder Woman could have been better? You're an idiot Marvel fanboy. Thought Guardians 2 could have been better? You're an idiot DC fanboy. Now, if you're part of the middle majority, you're already aware of the fact that this doesn't matter at all. In fact, I think Jeff Goldblum said it best.
Are you more of a Marvel guy or a DC guy?
What's the difference? They're both comic. They're both comic franchises.
You got like the X-Men Avengers on the Marvel side. DC, you got the Batman, the Superman kind of stuff.
It's all comics. It all kind of bleeds together unless you really immerse yourself in the lore. What a lot of comic book fans don't seem to recognize is that the majority of people know absolutely nothing about the next 50 comic book movies that are coming out. There are probably people who went to see Man of Steel and wondered where the Avengers were, because they don't keep track. Because they don't care. In response to that statement, some people might be thinking, well, they shouldn't go see the movies if they don't understand them. Well, the truth is, a lot of people don't go to the movies because they're excited to see the next chapter in Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And while a comic book fan will see every one of these movies and enjoy how the overarching stories unfold, the person sitting in the row in front of them isn't there for that. They just want some fun action for a couple hours. And if a comic book movie can give that to a person, then it doesn't matter which brand is behind it. It means the ongoing success of comic book movies in general. That's something that Marvel has been consistently providing for the last decade, and that's why their brand is so trusted. Their movies might not change the game, but they're not trying to. The Marvel movies aren't made for Marvel fans. They're made for everyone. The same could sort of be said for DC, because Wonder Woman certainly felt more in line with the Marvel films than it did with Batman v Superman or Suicide Squad. Wonder Woman was simple, fun, entertaining, and it followed the formula to a T. And people loved it. The point I'm really trying to make here is that these films have to be constructed for repeated success, not artistic meaning, because to the average audience member, they're all the same thing. They're not the MCU and the DCEU and Fox's universe and Sony's universe, and they all have to be different. They're all just comic book movies, and whether or not the average moviegoer sees another one depends entirely on how good the last one they saw was. So the question of Marvel versus DC is irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. If you enjoy comic book movies, you should hope that they're all successful, because if the genre starts to be perceived as bad in general, it doesn't matter which 80s pop song they put in a trailer. People will stop going to them, and studios will stop making them. I just get annoyed when I see people arguing over something like Marvel vs. DC, because a good film is a good film, regardless of who it's coming from. At the end of the day, these movies exist to make money and to provide entertainment for a couple hours, and they either succeed or fail in both regards. Just like pretty much every movie a studio puts in a theater. So it seems a bit silly to be legitimately concerned with which studio is producing better movies about people in costumes fighting each other. Personally, I continue to watch Marvel because I'm interested in the long-form storytelling, and I continue to watch DC because those are the characters I connected with when I was a kid. If you're a Marvel fan, cool. And if you're a DC fan, cool. But don't let that define your tastes or limit what you can enjoy. When DC finds their footing, and they will, and they start making consistently solid movies like Marvel, this debate will die out. So pick your battles wisely, because Marvel vs. DC has an expiration date. We may not know when that is yet, but it'll come sooner or later. This bubble is going to burst. And then people can start arguing about which era of Star Wars films is the best, or something. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.